Hi guys, it's Amy D. I am going to try something new. I'm going to record some videos and let's mass make some pockets. What we'll do is we'll just do some quick videos. We can do them together. You can do them with any kind of paper you like. You can do any size you like. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some mass makes. And once I get several of them done, I'll put it all in a box and then we can craft a journal together and we can do that in a live chat. So what I'm going to make today is I'm going to make some pockets. I'm going to use not pockets, envelopes. I'm going to use a 12-inch piece of paper. This is real thin scrapbook paper. It's white on the other side, but I do like this. I'm going to be doing a florally botanical journal. So this is what I'm going to make my envelopes out of. And when I'm done, I'll have 4 envelopes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my my cutter out, and I'm going to cut this at 5 inches. That's going to be my first cut. So I'm going to line it up with 5, and I'm going to hold it down and cut. And then I'm going to take this 5-inch piece and I'm going to cut it to 5-inch square. So, sorry about that. Let's line it up with 5, hold it down, and we'll go back and we have a 5-inch square then. Now we have a 7 by 5. This one is 7 by 12. So let's make a 7-inch square. So we've got 7 inches here. Let's do a 7-inch cut. There. Now we've got a 7 by 7 and a 5 by 5. This is 5 inches by, it's 7 inches by 5 inches, and this is the same size, 7 by 5. We'll put this away. And I'm going to show you 2 different ways to make it. One is with the envelope tool. If you have this or have seen it, sometimes they're attached to the envelope board. Mine is just separate. So what we're going to do, this is how I like to make them. I don't know that this is right, wrong, or otherwise, but this is how I do it. I line up my ruler and I go from corner to corner, and I put a mark in the center. And then I do it the other way, and I go from corner to corner and put a mark in the center. That way I have my center spot. And I just try and make it so it's not so big. We're going to end up erasing that all together. So this is our 7 by 7, and this is our 5 by 5. We'll do the same thing on the 5 by 5. We're just going to go from corner to corner and make a mark in the middle. And then we'll go from corner to corner and make a mark in the middle. We almost didn't quite make it there, but we've got it. So first we'll start with the 7 by 7, and you see we've got that mark in the middle. We're going to take one side and go right up to that middle point. Take that point up to the middle and crease it. I don't know where my scoring tool is, so I'm just going to use a card. And then we'll go from the other side and go right up to the middle and meet that point in the middle. And just flatten it out. Okay, so now we have this. We'll take the bottom and we'll take it up and fold it about a 1/2 inch above the point. And it's going to look like that. And I will ink this in just a minute so that you can see a little bit better. And then I'm going to take the top, though, and I'm going to fold it down the same way, about a 1/2 inch below the corner. So it looks like that. So now we can open it up, and I'm going to ink this just so that you can see it a little bit better. and not a lot of ink, but just so that you can kind of see those lines and where I'm cutting. And this is the way to do it without the envelope tool. We'll ink this way. And then we'll ink going this way. So now you see all of our folds on there. And what we're going to do is we're going to take our scissors and we're going to cut out these little parts right here. And we're going to go right inside of the lines. So I'm going to cut right in there and cut that piece out. I'm going to do that all the way around. Go on the other side. And then we'll do that over here. And we'll do it here. Hope y'all are having a good weekend. We did some running around today and got our errands done. Went and got some groceries and went to Goodwill and stuff. We can take this cross off now so that it's not visible from the inside. Okay, so now we have our basic envelope. We're going to go there. Oh, I'm sorry. First, we're going to do our sides. They meet in the middle. Then we're going to do the bottom. And then we have the top. And so basically, we have an envelope. So now what I like to do is I like to take the bottom, and just to make it a little bit easier, I line it up there so that I can see a good line. And I'm going to fold it just a little bit so that you have that kind of fold. And now when you fold it up, it looks more like an envelope. You can make it a little bit less of a fold so that you have a little bit more of a tab up there. And it'll be like that. What we'll do is we'll just get our glue and we'll glue that piece down. And I'm just going to do the smaller one. There. So now we have that. Okay, so let's trim this up just a little bit. We've got these corners down here. We've got these corners on the bottom. We've got these corners on the top. And we've got these corners that we're going to trim a little bit. And this is all going to be done with scissors. So let's take our scissors and see these sharp points right here. Let's just round them out just a little bit. And we're going to take and just round around there. And if you see now the difference, this is like a rounded corner and this is the square. So let's take our scissors and do the same thing to the other side. They don't have to be perfect, but you're just going to go around there. And now we have the two rounded corners. And let's do it on the top too. Let me get a little bit of ink here and you can kind of see the difference of what it looks like. Right now, we've got that sharp corner on there. So let's do the same thing up here and let's make it just a little bit rounder. And now when you fold it over, if you see, you've got the rounded corner there instead of the sharp corner. So we'll do the same thing on this side. Here. So now we've got that, and we've got that, and we've got that. Let's round this out now. We'll go along here. We'll go right there and just go around and round it out. And let me make that just a little bit, trim that just a little bit on that side. There. And now we've got that. So I'm going to get everything together and ink it. We don't need to ink the bottom part. We need to ink that top section of there. Do that. And then we'll ink this bottom flap. I don't have a whole lot of ink on my dauber, but that's okay. We've got enough. And we'll ink this. And we'll ink that. That. And that. So now there's our envelope. We can ink inside just a little bit to kind of take away some of the starkness there of the white. You can put some coffee dyed paper up there, but just something to kind of take away from that white there. I kind of like that. And what we'll do is we'll glue here and we'll glue here. We'll take our glue and go right along the side, and then we'll take our glue and go right along the side on this side. You don't want to get this center part because it'll touch this part. But what you do is just fold it over, press it down, and now you've got your envelope. I forgot to cut these little tabs here. We'll go right along here. And right along there. There. And there's one envelope. So there's one. There's the front of it. You can decorate it. You can put labels on it. You can put fussy cuts on it. But that is one. Now let's do the other one, and we'll use the little tool with it. So we're going to start out the same way. We're going to fold it to the center, just like that. We're going to fold it to the center, just like that. So we're doing the same thing. We're doing the same folds, probably not quite a ½ inch on the smaller envelope, but we're going to go up. We're going to fold it on the bottom, and then we are also going to fold it on the top. Probably, what is that, about a ½ inch or so? Yeah, that's about a ½ inch. So on the bigger envelopes, you can use that ½ inch guide. On the littler ones, you want to use about the quarter. So let me ink those lines again so that you can see them good. We'll go along and do that. Okay, and now we're at the point where on the other envelope we cut it. This time we're going to use our little tool. It's got two different areas on it. One says notch. I don't know, it's hard to see that. One says notch and the other side says corner. So we want to use the notch, and we're going to use the notch in those areas that we cut out on the other one. You just line it up in the middle and push, and it does that notch there. And we're going to do it all around. Instead of cutting, we're using that notch. And we have that. So here's where we're going to go back in the sides, go back up on top. This one does it a little bit big for these little envelopes. They're better suited on the big ones, actually. We'll go right there, and then we can fold it down. On this, we'll use our corner and punch it, and it punches that out. And now we've got another envelope here. I don't really care for these using the notches on the little ones. So I think the notches, the machine or the punch would be better to use on the 7-inch one than on the 5-inch one because it does give those long, but it's still an interesting little envelope. So we'll go ahead and we'll use it. I'm going to cut a little bit of that tab off just so that it's not quite so much and glue it down. And now we've got there. So let's ink a little bit. Trim a little bit of that off. It's just not folding right. So we'll ink. Yeah, it's definitely better to use the tool on the bigger envelopes. Little ones is just a little bit too big of a notch. Or I could just not stick it in as far and it wouldn't notch it as much. Anyways, we'll go through and we'll ink there. Use our eraser and get rid of those marks. We've already got the corners rounded, so we can give it a little ink. We'll put it in there, go across. We'll put some glue on the bottom. They are cute little envelopes, even though the notch was a little bit bigger than it should have been for it. We'll glue it over. And now we've got our envelope. Good. Use our card to put that down. We got our glue going good, and we can stick a little something in there. There's that. So we've got the 2 envelopes now. Now we're going to take those pieces that we have left, and we're going to make 2 more envelopes. We're going to come up here. This is 7 inches tall. So let's go up to, let's go right about to 3 inches there. So we have 2 inches left on the top. So we're at about 2.5 on the bottom. We'll just fold it up like this. And then we'll take this one and we're going to fold it down just so that it goes over that. So we have some space on the top. And if you see, we've got, there we go. So about that much. We've got, let's see, about 3/4 of an inch on the top there. Now we're going to fold in the sides. That far. And again, about that far. We'll ink those so that you can see them good. A little ink. There, now you can see those lines. And what we're going to do, I'm going to use my my little knife that I have. We're going to, in this center part, so what we want to do is we want to cut out this piece, this piece, this piece, and this piece. And we're going to make little diagonal cuts on the center ones. So we're going to go from just a little snip and just a little snip here. We're going to go just to the other side of that cross there. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. We'll go right here and right here. And then we're going to get our ruler, and I'm going to put it just on the inside of that line. And I'm going to go from the end to that first cross there. And that's going to take out that piece. And then I'm going to go from the cross to the end down here. So then all we have left is that piece in the middle. We'll do the same thing on the other side. We're just going to put it right on the inside. And we're going to go right down to our first cross and get rid of that. And then start at the second cross and go down to the end. And then we have these two sides. We're going to round our corners, and we can use a corner rounder or the corner punch. We're just going to round those. We'll round that. And we'll round that one. We fold up the bottom. Then we fold the top, and we've got another little envelope. So let's make a little corner or a little hole punch in this one. I'm just going to eye it. Well, that didn't work so good. Let's try it again. Oh, the corner. My punch doesn't want to punch. Well, that's okay. We can cut it. That's okay. Actually, I have another one right over here. I'm sorry to reach over. Let's try this one. See if we can make it look a little bit better than what it did. Okay, that doesn't want to work so good. Sometimes when that happens, if you put another piece of paper in with it, it'll cut better. I don't have anything sitting right here. Actually, I do have a little piece of cardstock in here. So let's try that. Just put that behind it, put it right up to the edge, and let's try cutting that one more time. Sometimes it doesn't like to cut on the thinner paper. There, that's better. So now we're going to take our glue and we're going to go right, oops, I should have put my pin in. Go right up the sides of there and right up the sides of that one. Fold it closed. And then we've got another envelope. And it's a different style. So we've got 1, 2, we've got 3, and then we'll do another one really quick. I'm going to pull my camera down so you can see a little bit better. And we're just going to do the same thing. We'll do it right up here. We're going to do it about 3 inches high. We're going to fold it down so that it's right over. We're going to fold it in. And we'll fold it in over here. Now we'll take our scissors and we're going to do a diagonal and a diagonal, diagonal, and another diagonal. And now I'll get my knife and my ruler. We're going to go right inside the line. We're going to cut down to the first, and then start at the second and cut down. We'll flip it around. We'll cut down to our first diagonal. Oh, I didn't do my, yes I did. Yes I did. It's my first video I've ever made, so I'm a little bit nervous. And then we'll do this one. Okay. So now we've got this. And this, we'll do our corners. Do another corner. That one wasn't very good. There we go. We'll put some glue over here. I forgot to punch my hole, so we'll do that real quick before the glue dries. Fold it up. There we go. We've got another envelope. So in the course of these couple of minutes, we have made 4 envelopes out of a 12 by 12 piece of paper. So we've got 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's a pretty good mass make for a couple of minutes. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave your questions down below. You can decorate them any way you like, and maybe we'll come back and do some decorating at one point or another. But I'm going to use at least 1 or 2 of these in my botanical journal that I make, and I hope that we can make it together. Bye, guys. Have a good day.